How's it? Welcome to another therapy session here on Same Old USA. Before we get to chatting tonight, I gotta do a quick little timeout here.
West Cork Beard Company make beard oil and beard balm for a strong, healthy, great-looking beard. Handmade from all natural ingredients in Clonakilty, West Cork. Check out their YouTube channel for beard care tips and advice, or catch them online at westcorkbeardcompany.ie.
What's up, guys? Rousing.
I thought you were gonna go with this whole thing.
The energy in this room is
about the same as it is in the Arsenal dressing room, apparently.
I don't know about that. I may have some differing opinions from you guys from our game against Everton.
I mean, here's the thing. Did we play well? I mean, to me, the question is, did any of us at any point, again, think we were going to score? It just comes back to that for me. And we got the penalty, and I'm like, all right, just, please hang on. Just for the love of God, hang on. And then when they scored again, it's like, that's it. Done. It's like they say, it's the hope that kills you. So
I thought we were going to score. I think for me, I think it's a matter of we just haven't done it in we have one goal from open play in the last 7 matches. 7? We've scored 3 in our last, I think, 7 or 8. 2 of them have been from the penalty spot. I think one's been from open play, and I'm at this point, it's like all the pressure in the world, and you're settling for jump shots from the elbow that you keep clanking off the back of the iron. For those basketball fans watching us tonight, I just don't think I have any faith or any confidence in. Whoa, who just showed up behind you? What?
Just picked up some stuff and ran away.
The real question is, what's behind Stan? There's a scary Spider-Man in the background.
Oh, the Spider-Man!
That's scary.
You should put out of me.
I tried to get my my TIE Fighter helmet in the background, but I couldn't. I'm sitting in front of it, but that's pretty badass. So that was fun when I was putting that together. Yes, I am a 42-year-old kid. I love Legos. I love Star Wars. Don't judge me. Don't you judge me. I can feel all of your judgy eyes.
We all follow Arsenal. Who can we judge now?
Yeah, right.
Right.
No. Apparently we can judge because when Tottenham lost, everyone was laughing, talking smack to them, like we're in such a good spot. They were calling him out on social media. All these fans were really giving it to him, and it's like, and I get the arguments like, oh well, it's all we have. But
we don't even have that right now.
Do we have that though? We don't. We're not just to laugh at them at all.
They're currently in 5th place. We're 10 spots behind. Yeah,
I don't know. I said
that's. I was trying to convince myself maybe of this, like in the past few weeks, like the league. There's so much parity in the league that we're not that far off if we just put together a stretch of wins. Not anymore.
Where is that coming from?
Well, no, that I'm talking like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I'm looking at it. I'm saying, yeah, okay, we're falling down the table. We're 11th, we're 12th, we're 15th, but we're only 5 points off the top 6. Rattle off 2 wins in a row, and all of a sudden we're right back in this thing if we can get a little help from some of the teams ahead of us. Now it's like, where do you see 2 wins in a row coming from when you look? And I have absolutely no notes in front of me. This literally for me is going to be the 4 of us sitting at the bar with a couple of TVs on in the background having beers. Except I'm not drinking.
I brought beers. This is good.
I'm trying to maintain a level tonight since I have to wake up early and drive tomorrow. But no, I'm like I said, 4 dudes sitting at the bar. Stan, you've been very
Very, very quiet over there, kind of listening to the three of
I
us.
didn't think, look at this Everton game. They were, first of all, it was an understrength Everton, right? I think they had maybe, I think they played 4 centre backs at the back because they didn't have any fullbacks or something like that.
That's how they've been playing.
Well, Seamus Coleman was coming back from injury, so they didn't start him. But then, Luka Digne, he's out.
He's been out, yeah.
You would have
James Rodriguez.
You would kind of think that this is a fixture where we would be able to pick up points of old. But it's now the other way around. I believe that teams are now looking at the fixture lists, and when they see Arsenal coming up, they earmark that as an opportunity for them to pick up extra points. That's kind of how bad we are at the moment. And
the whole league right now is playing. See, it's unpredictable, and like there are times that teams are scoring 6, they're conceding 6, right? But we never look like scoring even 2. Right now, even 1 for that matter, and how are we going to win any matches if we score own goals every other game or get a red card, and we're just not looking like scoring. We just don't, even in that game that Leeds lost against Manchester United, that game could have ended like 10-5 or something like that, right? Both teams were going at it, and even though Leeds lost and they scored only 2, conceded 6, I'd say they looked threatening. They could have scored more. And, Arsenal just don't look like scoring. We have a couple of chances. We don't even have shots. The stats are out there. Chances created, worst. Shots in the box, worst. Shots on target, really bad. Conversion rate, really bad.
It's funny because when Mikel Arteta had his press conference and put all of his stats out, he left those ones at home.
Exactly.
I just want to just touch on that as well. For me, that was just like Rafa Benitez all over again. The famous fucks. It's fucks. That fucks interview that he gave, where he gave everyone his fucks. It's fucks. When he started doing that, I was listening to him, right? And it was like, I know the words that are coming out of his mouth are English. But when you put them together in that sequence, I've got no idea what you're talking about, mate. I was baffled listening to what he was saying. And when you got someone who's sitting there with all these like fucks and they're baffling you, to me, I just start to hear excuses. And I think it's a slippery slope when managers start tiptoeing into that kind of territory where they're using these benign statistics to back up what it is that they're trying to present on the football pitch.
Yes,
excuses also would make sense if they were backed by reason or backed by logic or backed by facts, right? I don't know what it meant that we had 25% chance of winning the last time we played against Everton, but we won 3-2, and this time we had 67%. I looked at I watched the game, and I didn't think that we had 67% chance of winning. We did play better in the second half, but that's because Everton already had the lead. They knew that we weren't going to score. What is the evidence that we've given them that they need to score another? They knew that the game was over as soon as they scored the second. So that was done. Like, I don't know where he got that stat of 67%. And that's what was, now it's not worrying. Now it's disheartening, because I want Arteta to succeed and I've wanted him to succeed, but I don't think he will. And I think the sooner we get rid of him now, I'm off the board. If the sooner we get rid of him, the better it is, because now he's got no idea of what he's talking about. And he's just trying to come up with some words that make sense only in his head and nobody else.
I said off camera, right? But it's like the more I'm listening to his conferences now, especially that last one, I thought it was like, is this guy doing an impression of Unai Emery? Because I cannot understand what it is that the point that he's trying to make. And I'm not saying that to get a cheap laugh. That's exactly how I felt. And I was kind of like, this doesn't bode well. However, in what you're saying there, Rohan, about, it's time for him to go now, I just don't think there's any chance of that happening in the immediate future, because I was just reading before we came on air. I was just reading through, and I'm reading another story how, the Cronkies will unequivocally, that's the word that we've used, unequivocally back him in the January window and it said after that, amid dressing room unrest. So there is definitely something going on behind the scenes. No matter how much that Mikel Arteta will try and tell us that he's got everything under control, there is definitely unrest of some form going on behind the scenes. And if that doesn't get nipped in the bud soon, and obviously clearly air meetings didn't do nothing, I fear that, you know, as I said before, managers don't really live. There's never been a manager that's lived past the wrath of David Luiz. If David Luiz decides to turn, it's usually game over for the manager. And I'm kind of worried that, is he going to get the chance to spend this money in January? I'm not so sure. How many games have we got until he can get his hands on money? Anyone?
3. I think 3.
We've got two.
Well,
We've got tomorrow. I wasn't counting that. We've got tomorrow City, then we've got Chelsea Boxing Day, and we've got and then the window starts effectively, but we've got Brighton on the 2nd.
No, Brighton's on the 29th. We have West Brom on the 2nd.
Oh, 29th. Okay.
Yeah, because we go Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday, and Saturday, I think.
And if they did get rid of him, Sonny woke up tomorrow morning and Mikel has been given the boot. And it's, as I've said before, the terrifying prospect is that it's his task to recommend a replacement to the board, right? But in the meantime, who would step in as caretaker manager? Would it be that Steve Rand fella? You know,
I don't know.
What's the deal there? Who stepped in? Because I thought Steve Round was supposed to be a little bit of the sounding board. You know, he's been around. He's coached at a lot of clubs. He could kind of like rein in Mikel if need be a little bit of a guiding light. But I don't seem to see any of that.
So, but we need, if they are going to give him the sack, then, which I don't think they will, because the board is just not strong enough, and the board has no idea what they're doing. They will throw all the shit on the wall and just hope something sticks, but that shit will not include money, because money is not something that's going to come out of their pocket, and nobody's going to want to join us anyway. So that's that. If they were to bring someone in, they should bring someone with experience to have a plan to execute that plan. But they will not do that. They will not get a Pochettino. They will not get an Allegri. They'll not get any of those. What they're going to try to do is just ride this out, and we're going to finish like, I don't know, like 12th, 13th or something in the league, and it's going to be dreadful. And we're back to square one.
What's funny to me in all this is the fact that they're American owners. They own 3 North American sports franchises. And other than the Rams, because they stuck with Ryan, back me on this. You probably are, you probably know more about it, I would say, than Stan or Rowan. But with the Rams and Jeff Fisher, they stuck with Jeff Fisher for a long time. When that ship was very, very, very obviously sinking. But what's weird about it is if this were, hey Stan, this one's for you. The Nuggets, the Nuggets or the Avs. I think either one of those guys would have been done by now. You lose. I mean, we've lost what? We've lost 7 of 8, I believe. The one isn't even a win, it's a draw. That wasn't the 8th loss. If you lose 7 of 8 in the NBA or the NHL, the NFL, only because the season's so short, if you lose 7 of 8, and again, you can play for the high draft pick at that point. But in the NBA or the NHL, if you lose 7 of 8, you're getting real close to getting your walking papers. And it just doesn't feel like that with this. Like even with Unai Emery, because I think we all got to a point with Emery where it's like, put us out of our misery already. And it was okay. They didn't fire him after the Leicester match when there was an international break right after. They held on for just about another month. But now all of it, it's like you have to do something. You can't stick with this. And for all the people who say that KSE doesn't understand football and the fact that, well, there's no relegation in North American sports, and that's the biggest problem with this, is that if we actually get relegated, but they're sticking with him. I don't. I get the sentiment behind it, but I'm with Rowan on this. I want him to succeed, and I really thought, I was like, okay, at the beginning of this year, at the beginning of the current season that we're in, it's like, okay, and I wasn't, and Ryan, I keep going back to this with you, like I didn't agree with you at the beginning when you were like, we're not good. Just temper the expectations because we're not good. And I keep admitting it. I could not have been more wrong. You could not have been more right.
No,
Everybody
but we are
cherish
not
that
good.
moment.
We are not good means, what does that mean? Like, we were not good for, okay, we are not good for top 4, understand. We are not good for top 6, understand. Like, but we are not 15. There's still some quality of players there. They are not playing for him. I did not see, I don't know what you guys saw, but I did not see any tracking back. I saw him playing Willian there, who's had 1 shot on target in the last 13 games. He played the whole 90 minutes there. And I think what's happening here is that he, like Stan, you said, Luis and Willian now control the dressing room, and he can't lose them. So he's playing them all that he can so that he doesn't lose them. And that's just like unacceptable. He has shown that he doesn't have the control of the dressing room, and the players aren't playing for him. So what is it to prove that they're going to get back? There was no level of effort in the performance.
So, okay, I like to tell everybody that me and Rohan get along very well. We're friends. We are going to hang out and meet up. We're very close to each other as far as geographical location.
But I'm not talking shit.
And I promise you we're good friends. But, I every week I feel like me and you just can't agree on anything. And it's another week. I could not agree with you. No, I could not disagree with you. Whatever. I don't agree. I actually think it was our best game that we lost. I think we played really well. The first half wasn't great. I think Willian and Eddie, barring them two, I think we actually played fairly well. I don't think Arteta has lost the dressing room. I think what's happening, though, is I think there's we've been kind of going over this. I think there's just cliques and factions forming. And I think they're trying to take over the dressing room, but I don't think they're doing a good job of doing it. I surprisingly don't think Willian and Luis are a part of it. They could be. I don't know. I've been wrong. I'm always wrong, But I really I don't want to say I was impressed. I don't want to say I was happy. I wasn't happy we lost 2-1 to Everton. But this is to me, if we play like this week in, week out, and we haven't been, we're not getting relegated. And I get that. We are not. No one's immune to being relegated. I understand that. But I do not think this the way we play against Everton is going to get us relegated. I think we showed fight in the second half. Yeah, people say, oh, well, Everton led us, and Everton didn't have a good team. I get it. But if you look at both starting 11s, I mean, you guys can come in. I can ask this question to all of you guys. I think on paper, Everton had a better team, better starting 11 than we did. We didn't have a good 11. Oh God, it's Mike. Everybody hide and run. Hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your daughters. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying. I guess it's weird too because I've been so negative, and we all talk about how I think we're so bad. But I'm trying to be positive here. I didn't think we were that bad. I think we definitely deserved at least a draw. And I did predict 2-2 in the Arse Bros preview show. So, I mean, it's we're missing part.
But where was the level of effort where you thought that the players were?
I thought we had a lot. I thought in the second half we generated a lot of chances. I thought my man of the match was easily AMN. I thought AMN beasted it. I think
but didn't Everton just sit back and let us come on to them because
no, I don't agree.
I think it's basically like Spurs.
I don't agree.
Then Ryan, you're going to say that we dominated Spurs as well, just because we had 70% of the possession, and in the second half they didn't get into our half. It's because that was their game plan. This is how Everton played against Chelsea, and they beat Chelsea. The first goal that was played. Did anybody try to make any sort of effort to go and block Iwobi, who was clearly going to play the ball there? Holding, just not good enough, knows how good this guy is in the air, Calvert-Lewin, didn't get close to him. Week in, week out, we either get a red card or we score own goals. How do you think we're going to win? that there was that one chance. I think there was this one chance in that game that Eddie got, and he should have taken that touch, and he did.
Yeah,
he could still be dribbling the ball right now. He had so much freaking room, and this
now,
is 2 days after the fact.
Okay, now Rohan, I actually agree with everything you're saying, but I don't think we dominate Tottenham. I don't think we dominated Everton. I'm not saying we played well. I'm not saying Everton. I see I'm going to lose my train of thought. I'm not saying we should have won. We should have got 3 points. We dominated them. We should have ran them off the pitch. I'm not. But I'm saying, giving our current status, giving us everyone saying, "Oh, we're getting relegated." I really don't think we played that bad. And this Everton team, injuries, whatever you want to call it, to me, the only 2 players that matter in the Everton squad are Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin. They're the 2 guys. The rest of the squad can take a nap. Calvert-Lewin can carry that squad. And I said this, I don't know if it was this podcast or I said on the Arse Bros, I think Calvert-Lewin is the best striker in the Premier League. And I stand by that. I mean, we could argue and get into things like that, but the different podcasts. But I think he was the person I was scared of. And Richarlison could, he's always a threat. He's kind of an asshole too on the pitch, which I thought, thank God Xhaka didn't play, because I'm sure he would have provoked Xhaka to do something stupid. But I definitely.
Isn't Xhaka waking up in the morning being provoked for him to do something stupid?
Probably. I don't know. But I just think that there's. I don't know. The only thing I can really say is I didn't see a team that is not playing for their manager. I didn't see that. And you did, Rohan, and fair play to you. But I just didn't see it. I think there was players on the field that wanted to win and wanted to make things happen. And I just think our squad's not there yet. I think we need Partey back. We need pieces back. But I think we need really, and I keep beating this drum, and you guys know this. I always talk to Ray about this. Ray knows this. Arsenal fan circle. We need to sell players. I don't care if we don't bring anybody in January. We could bring nobody in, even though we apparently signed that 18-year-old center back from Hertha Berlin. But I just want to sell. Our squad is so bloated. We need to just get rid of, cut some wages.
But again,
all that stuff.
Again, you need a buyer. You need a buyer.
No, I'm not saying, oh, we're definitely getting rid of people. I'm just saying that's my.
No, I get it.
Stan, do you guys think that the players are playing for him?
Stan, go ahead.
Some of the players, I think some of the players are. I mean, in that last game, I'm not David Luiz's biggest fan at all, in the slightest. But, when he was on the ball, he wanted things to happen. He wanted some forward progression to happen, There was a lot of bickering as well, I felt, as well. There's a lot of players that were kind of bickering with one another, especially around Luis, Holding, El Neni. These guys seem to be a lot of bickering going on. And for me, Willian as well, it's just getting ridiculous now. The guy just stands still. He's so easy to mark. He stands still so that he's marked out of the game, so that he doesn't make himself an option. It's sneaky. It's lazy to do that, And there was a couple of all right, Jess. There's been a couple of times as well where a pass was made to him, and he made no effort to come forward to get to the ball, and then the ball was intercepted by one of the opposition because he made no effort to get to the ball first, and he lasted the whole 90 minutes. And the manager is what he's doing in his management now. It's just becoming confusing to me. I mean, I'm not Lacazette's biggest fan either. However, I don't understand why he'd been dropped for this game, because he actually worked quite hard in the previous games, I felt.
Yeah.
And so you have a player that's, again, and this is a player that I'm not in favour of, but I've seen that he works hard and then he drops him. And then you have someone like Eddie Nketiah, who I've seen enough of now. I think I know what Eddie Nketiah is, what he can do and what he can't do. And I'm at the stage now where some of his minutes now need to be given to Balogun.
And
hold on. And speaking of that as well, it's the way he makes his choices. Someone like Martinelli has been out for such a long time now, but then he'll rush him back into the squad ahead of giving maybe minutes to someone like Balogun, who Mikel Arteta is supposed to be trying to keep on side to show that he could be part of the team, so that we don't lose him to a Liverpool. And 3 years later, he comes back to haunt us by scoring hat tricks. You know what I'm getting at? And if I was someone like Balogun, and I heard Lee Judges say something similar on the UK version of this podcast, which you should all watch because they were all wearing Christmas hats. But he said something along the lines of, like, you know, if you were Balogun, you know, it'd be time to have a talk with your dad and be like, you know, maybe it's time for you to move on somewhere else, son, if this is how it's going to go. You know, it just doesn't seem that the divvying up of time, some of the selection, it doesn't seem that people are being selected on merit. It doesn't seem that the divvying up of time to some of our youngsters is being well managed. I mean, that dead rubber game in the last Europa League game, there were some other faces that should have been involved. It was a dead rubber. It's a dead rubber. Give them some time. You want to find out whether they're better than the under 23 level in a competitive game, even though it's a dead rubber. Put them in there. So I'm finding it very difficult to understand where Mikel Arteta is coming from. And after that, as I say, after that press conference, the Rafa Benitez impression, I'm finding it hard to keep faith with him. But as I've always said, he's the Arsenal manager. I like him. I want him to do well. But I'm so worried about how this is all going to end now.
I think the thing with Arteta that we all, at least at the very beginning, saw was a young, promising manager and somebody that could take this club forward for the next decade, if not more. And I think that excited us that wow, we could have somebody else here. Not another Arsene Wenger, but in terms of the consistency of having the same manager in place for so long and being able to kind of rebuild the club in that way. And it's just all gone horribly wrong for him. It's just, I mean, that's at least that for me anyway. That's what I was like looking forward to. I could have sacrificed a year or two of, you know, 6th place, you know, 7th place, but still figuring out a way to get into Europe for, you know, a couple of years, you know, kind of squeak in. But let him really implement his style. And I really thought that we would see, because I think this is what he's good at. I thought we'd see a lot more of the youth playing. And that's the thing. Like, and I said it, I think I said it last week. He doesn't trust himself. So he's leaning on these veteran players, the old dogs that can't be taught the new tricks. And he's not trusting his own abilities, because I think he's a manager or a coach. I think he's a coach for a young team.
See, so much so that when our captain is absent, he will panic and give the armband to a player like Mustafi, who's already dictating terms to Arsenal about how he's going to leave in the summer. This guy's obviously not up for the cause. This guy's more thinking about his future, rightly or wrongly. He should have just given the armband to someone like a Tierney. And again, I think didn't Holding have it as well?
Holding against
Holding had
Everton.
it on Sunday or Saturday against
again,
Everton.
a player that we were gonna sell to, we wanted to get rid of to Newcastle.
I heard we were loaning him.
Now we're trying to give him a new contract. So that would tell me then that in the Mikel Arteta's eyes, what he has seen from Rob Holding from pre-season to now, he's seen an improvement. Because 1 minute he wanted to get rid of him, now he wants to give him a new contract. Based on what?
But you don't agree? You don't agree Rob Holding has improved for us this season? See,
What
did he do again?
I don't think he's improved or gone back, if that makes any sense.
Let me ask the question a different way.
I don't see anything that would make me think, oh, I need to move this guy out of the club. So all of a sudden now be going.
You wanted to loan him to New. I don't
see what's happened in that space of time for you to have that change of mind.
Well, he's going to be a loan to Newcastle.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Well, we weren't selling him. They wanted to send him on loan. But let me ask Brian's question a different way. Has Rob Holding improved enough to warrant a new contract?
I mean, depends. Like to me, I think he's a perfect squad. Again, he's a squad player. If we could keep him on low wages, we didn't buy him for very much. I don't think he's terrible. I don't think he's bad. Is he a top 4 Champions League player? No, I don't think so. But I definitely see him as someone to come on if, I guess Luis is a bad example, but Luis is what we have now. If like a Luis or a Gabriel get hurt or get suspended, I don't hate him. I think he, England guy. I don't understand the holding hate. I really do think Bellerin's hung up guys so much that people think he's terrible. He's horrible. He's been. I don't even want to. No, I'm not even gonna say that. But he's been one of our better defenders, and I think he gets such a bad rep. And I think he's probably our most underrated player. Not to say that we have rated players this season because we're so bad, but like I do think Holding's had a really good season for us. Now, again, do I think he's going to be a top 4 player? Do I think he's going to be in our starting 11? No, I don't think so.
He had a good game against Southampton, in which Gabriel got the red card. But last game there was nothing there. Did he win any headers against DCL? Did he win anything there? He was.
I don't think he had a bad game though. I mean, I don't know. I have to rewatch it. I don't think he played bad at all. Besides the first goal itself, where was he? He was nowhere. He was right behind him. He just reacted too late.
He's been.
He was behind him. I'm not saying he wasn't right behind him. He was like,
the goal.
He was so far away that it hit his head and then came and hit his foot and went inside.
He wasn't that far away. Come on, he wasn't that far away. You make it seem like he was like a football field away from him. He wasn't that far. I admit it. He was late to react. It's definitely his fault, that goal, but I don't know. But okay,
it's not just him because those people, they didn't stop the cross. The Williams, etc. of the team, they didn't stop the cross from coming in. So it's not a one-person problem.
No,
and I agree with you. Holding, I like him for his passion. I like him for he's all right. He's all right. He's I would want him for cup games, etc. He's not. He's not a starting 11 player. Right. And right now, what we need is a solid starting 11. We don't need like such a big squad that is going to compete for all 4 trophies. Right. But what we need is a concentrated squad that can play. But we're nowhere close. And year on year,
we haven't had that in years. We haven't had that. Real quick. About 3
or 4 players. We've got an over bloated squad, and it's bloated with basically cup players.
Yeah, Stan, give me a minute here, real quick. I want to shout out everybody in the chat. You guys are doing a great job tonight. A lot of funny stuff going on over there. This is like it's like 2 shows going on for me right now. I'm watching the comments, and I'm going to shout out Glenn here real quick. 2 questions. One, does it matter who the captain is? We'll come back to that in a minute. No leaders on team. 2, is this another show where I can leave for 4 hours and come back? No. I have to go to bed and get a decent night's sleep tonight. I'm not drinking. Jess is in the chat, and I don't know where Drew is. I haven't seen Drew anywhere. I thought he was going to be in here.
Yeah, he made a comment about your testicle face. I don't know.
Did he really? Oh, I missed. Yeah. And of course, I missed that one.
I was laughing hysterically, but
sorry about that one. And the other thing too, real quick, I see a lot of new people in the chat right now. So if this is your first time here, welcome. We're glad you're here.
Shout to Johnny Devine in the chat, my boy. Johnny Devine.
J Rob, if you catch this on the replay, I'm sorry I didn't get to shout out your super chat earlier, but I'll do it now. And sleeps for quitters, by the way. You should have stayed up. I'm kidding. Kind of. But anyway.
Like 10 minutes after you just said, I got to go to bed early. I got to wake up early. I got to go to bed, guys. I'm not going to be up late.
I'm going to be in bed at like midnight. Whatever. It was 3 a.m. for him. So, yeah, you got me on that. Stan, go ahead. I'm sorry. I interrupted your thought.
I can't remember now, but Real Janice asked a question twice that I wanted to answer. He asked us regarding Holding and Chambers. And for me, I would put a little bit more investment into Chambers just because of his versatility. He can play in a variety of positions. So if I had to choose one, if I had to keep one of those 2, it would be for me Chambers over Holding.
Yeah, I agree. Happy holidays to you too. Yeah, I mean, no, I completely agree. The thing that I was going to bring up when Rohan was talking was, we talk about how, Rohan says this all the time, we're not a 15th place team. And I, to an extent, I agree with you. But then we go, but our squad's so bad. Yeah, you do look really awake, yeah, liar. Our squad is so bad. Our squad's shit. And I'm one of the people that have been saying this. But then when you break down individually the players that we have in our squad, you go, okay, Eddie, he's probably bottom Premier League, top Champions League level. Okay. Xhaka, bottom Bundesliga level, let's see, Ceballos, probably like mid-table La Liga. Like if you dive into all these players, Willian probably should retire, Luis probably should retire. You break down these players player by player, and you start to really see it's like we really do have a bad squad. And I get it, you have the Aubameyang, the Partys, but Aubameyang didn't play. He has a tight calf, which whatever that means, I'm not going to speculate. I don't know. I don't care. He didn't play. He didn't play. It is what it is. And he's not playing.
Question on that, Ryan, as you touch on that, I mean, a couple of people at the very beginning of the show.
I did think about that.
What's your thoughts on this Aubameyang thing? It's not something that I've really looked into or paid much credence to, but do you think it is what it is, or do you think there is something more to it, and that's the line that we're being given?
It's tough because I want to sit here and be like, he's hurt. But then you have somebody in our club, he who should not be named, who constantly complains of back injuries, who I've been told by people in the club that he has embellished said back injuries when Wenger was in charge. So, I mean, it's tough. I want to believe Aubameyang. My heart of hearts, gun to my head. I think he had a tight calf. I do. Now, could he have pushed himself and played and chose not to? Maybe. I don't know. But I do genuinely believe that, there's something going on there. But yeah, anyways, just to tie up what I was saying, I don't know how you guys feel, but if you legit break down individually all of our players, they're not good enough. They are good enough to be in a 15th place team. So it's kind of like you're like, oh, we shouldn't be 15th. And to an extent, I agree with you. But when you look at the players, you go, yeah, maybe we are deserving a 15th when you break down all these players, individually, because you're not going to have an Aubameyang carry us every season. It's just not going to happen.
It's not like we are 15th in a season where it's super competitive and everybody, there are few teams, top 4, top 5, top 6 that is beating everyone beats everyone here, right? That is what is happening. There is no consistency. The only 2 teams that have shown any sort of consistency in this league are Sheffield United and Arsenal, because we lose to everyone. That is the consistency that we have.
We've been consistently bad.
Yeah, exactly. Except for this, every other team has had good days. Your Villas and your Southamptons and every other team has played well. Today, Burnley won against Wolves, 2-1. Wolves came and turned us over. Wolves turned us over 2-1. This is the state where we're at. We can't buy a win to save our life right now. And that is the issue. So after 14 games, just look at 14 games and what's the top spot? Top spot is 31, I think, 31 or something like that. Top 4, top 5 is at 25, 26. That's not enough. Just talk about it. 14 into 3 is 42. Out of 42, somebody is getting 26 points and they're in top 5, top 6. And you're saying that we're not good enough to be there, to not accumulate 9 wins, 8 wins out of 14. I mean, I can't believe that. Look at the list of players. I can still name Aubameyang better than 15th.
Pepe, right now, you think he's better than 15th?
No, right now not. Right now not. Which is why we need a change upstairs, because he's clearly not performing. We need to get a tune out of him. Aubameyang should generally be top 15. Top 6, right? Okay. Pepe, I think he can do something more than what he's doing right now, but he doesn't get a run in, and when he does, he's not playing as well. Yeah.
But he hasn't shown
Saka
that
has played well.
really.
Saka has played well. Saka is good, and I think that he can be in the top 6-8 hunt. When you look at our defense, I think Leno is good. Tierney is good. Gabriel has had a good season. So your AMN is good. You've got players in there who are decent. So I don't know what is the whole point of us being 15th and being like, yeah, this is where we need to be. No, I don't think so.
Oh, I didn't. No. I'm not saying this is where we need to be. I'm just saying that like people are like freaking out, and like the comment he just put up. We're gonna had Stoke next season is gonna be fun. And I'm not gonna go. I don't know if anyone saw the Arse Bros. They did the OG last night, but Max, our fearless, humble leader, said he would get a Prince Albert. And I don't know if you guys know what a Prince Albert is, but if you don't, I suggest you guys look it up. But he would get a Prince Albert live on stream if we get relegated. Now, I'm not going to go.
Who said that?
Max.
Who said that?
Max said that. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Now, I'm not going to go as far as to pierce anything that I use, but and again, I don't.
Wait. You don't use it.
No, I use it. I didn't say other people use it. I just say I use it. It's different. Anyways.
Fair. Okay. All right.
So
just clarifying.
Sometimes it comes in handy.
Yeah. But listen, and I we talked about it last week, and I completely handy. Yeah. Listen, man, my girlfriend Jill, Jill. Anyways, yeah, so we talked about it last week. I don't think we're immune to getting relegated. We're not too good to get relegated. But I also, in saying that, we're not getting relegated. Just based to me, I know this is stupid. Rohan's going to give me the stink eye, and I'm so sorry, Rohan. I'm gonna buy your first drink, I promise. But if we play like we played against Everton, we're not getting relegated. We didn't play that bad.
The issue is not getting relegated. The issue is being 15th itself.
No, I agree, but I'm just saying, like, everyone's freaking out. I don't even know what I did again, but
I am freaking out because we are 15th, not because I think we're going to get relegated. Because we should be better than this, and I don't see the squad playing for the manager, and I don't see the manager putting it back.
We're not a good team. I don't agree. I'm sorry.
All right. Can I let you go ahead? Can I let you into a secret? I mean, I've been supporting the club for a long time, and I've never seen us in a relegation dogfight. And there's this little part of me that's deep inside that's like, I don't mind seeing that, just to see, something I've not been involved in it, right? Years I've been supporting, into football, I've not been involved in that situation. So I'm like, there's a part of me that's like, fuck it, bring it on. Let's see what that. Let's have a look at what.
So, all right, let's go around the horn real quick. Question is, do you think we will get relegated? And quickly, why? I will go first. I do not think we'll get relegated, and here's why. Because I think there are 3 teams in this league that are worse than us.
Yeah.
I do. I think Burnley is worse than us, despite the loss to them.
Good first team. Keep going.
Yeah, right. That is it in a nutshell right there. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're saying why we won't go down, and we're like, well, there's teams that are worse than us.
That's what it is.
We know one that just done us.
I mean it. I mean it. I don't think we'll go down because I think there are 3 worse teams in this league than us. That's why I think that. Because Sheffield's going down. And I'm going to come back to Sheffield in a minute after we get these questions, because saying Sheffield made me think of something. I just want to get that out there after we do this. I think West Brom, Sheffield, I mean Burnley, and
Big Sam.
Fulham might.
You've lost him. He's gone.
He's going with West Brom.
Yeah, the masked giant himself.
Our savior. That's not happening.
So, Rowan, do you think we'll go down, and why or why not?
No, I don't think we will go down, because at some point, I think either the players will turn it around, or the manager will get sacked and somebody will turn it around. I'm just making a list of the players that we have right now, and I did name a few. Aubameyang, Saka, Pepe, Elneny, Tierney, Ceballos.
For what?
No, this is the 11. This is the 11 that I think is good enough for us to get into top 8
You think
top
El
six,
Nani's?
you know, that's
Listen, I love Egyptian Pirlo.
For-
He is not good
for
enough for
top
top
eight.
8.
For top 8
No.
compared.
Bios.
Yeah,
But
not
why not?
Tobias
Like,
either.
I'm not saying. So how you're looking at Ceballos is Ceballos being a top 4 championship sort of player, but there are plenty of midfielders between us and top 6 right now who are worse than him. You know, I'm not a fan of Ceballos, but what I'm gonna say is that there's enough players in there that we should be at least pushing. We've seen worse. If I just take out 11 players from here, I can tell you 11 players who have played for Arsenal before this, in this decade, who've been worse than these, and we've got into top 4.
I mean,
How does that work?
Because the ones you can name are probably sprinkled over like a period of some years, maybe even decades, right? Whereas we've got a load of shit ones all in one clump, all in one bunch playing for us now. That's the difference. And
so I have a question for you. I actually have a question for all 3 of you guys.
Bios. I mean,
where would you rate? Where would you rank? I know this is
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
What?
You guys didn't answer my question. You don't get to ask the question before
No,
you answer my question.
Only because Rohan brought it up. I just want to really quick.
you
Where
haven't
would
offered
you
yet.
leave Partey out of this because he's been hurt and we don't know when he's coming back. We don't want to rush him back. Obviously, we don't want a repeat of what happened against. Yeah, exactly. Without him, where would you rank our midfield?
All right, so where would I rank them?
Yeah,
based on like 1 out of 20 in terms of the Premier League.
Or you could just say bottom half.
Bottom quarter. I would say bottom 5. Bottom 5.
Yeah. Okay. And that's
and I agree with that.
Kind of where we
stand.
are. I
agree with that. But
three questions.
But I agree with our midfield being bad, and that is a change from earlier years, because at least the midfield was more or less decent with, you know, Santi or with Ramsey or with Wilshere or with Fabregas or Nasri, etc. You know, so midfield is shit right now. But all in all, okay, I changed this up, right? Like Aubameyang, Martinelli, Saka, Aubameyang, Martinelli, Pepe, Saka, Partey, El Neni, Tierney, Gabriel, AMN, and any other centre back that you want to choose, Holding, or whoever, and Leno. This 11, I think, is good enough for us to be top 8, 7, something like that.
But
why not?
Never played. I can't say yes or no.
I'll check him out.
I don't disagree with you, Ryan, but like that 11's never played for us. You can't be like,
so fickle, right? You just named 2 starting 11s. The first one had Danny Ceballos in.
No. Because I was trying to think who can play in midfield, but then I remembered that Martinelli is back, and I put him on the wing and put Saka in the thing. But again, Ceballos can play there, and I thought that he had some amount of intent in that Everton game. It's not like
the ball over. Kicks the ball out of play, can't make a pass, turns the ball over so many times.
Wait,
and when he gets magnified to the ball, he follows it everywhere, loses totally out of position.
Ceballos, and I know that he's been bad.
He's also really low.
I agree that he's been really bad. But again, I feel like the manager is not able to get, you know, whatever his potential is, even that out of him right now.
I've seen some good moments. Don't get me wrong. I've seen some good moments from Danny Ceballos, but the inconsistency is overwhelming to those moments for me. And you're right. You would think that, you know, when Mikel came to us, one of the biggest plaudits he had was that he's really good at making players better. He's really good at doing that, and I ain't seen it.
Can I answer your question?
Can you name one player that you think Mikel Arteta has improved?
That he's improved?
That he's improved under his watch.
I mean, he's really good in Berlin. I'm kidding. He is really good in Berlin.
I think probably the only one, and I think it's probably because he had it in his locker anyway, but was asked to play a different way, is El Neni. And, you know, our midfield is bad. It's so bad that at this moment in time, taking Partey out, because he's injured and all of that, I still think right at this moment in time, our best informed midfielder is still El Neni. For me, he still makes the midfield in every selection, and that's not a good thing.
I'm going to throw you guys. I don't know if you guys will agree with this.
It's not a good thing.
I'm going to throw this out there. Put Partey back into the midfield. I still don't think our midfield's in the top 10.
Nani Saka is.
I don't know. I need to see Partey play. I agree.
If you're putting Saka in the midfield, okay.
Like I said,
in the midfield, Martinelli out on the left.
In a wet dream, you have Saka on the left, you have Partey in the middle, kind of anchoring the midfield, and you have Hayden on the right.
Saka in that role, though, that's the thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's I don't know. It's
I mean, you're talking a midfield of based on what we've seen with Partey healthy, Partey, El Neni. I don't even know of them. I don't even know when we've played three in the midfield with those two in the game. It's always been a back three with those two basically playing as a midfield two, with Bellerin and Tierney providing the widths as the wing backs. I mean, I'd love to see Saka play. I'd love to see a left-hand side of Tierney, Saka, and Martinelli. That would be.
I actually brought that up on a podcast. Yeah,
that would be absolutely tits bananas. Tits bananas, baby.
Can I answer your question about being relegated?
Our midfield, I think one of my biggest disappointments, and it actually just rings back to the comment I made about Mikel Arteta having the reputation of improving players and making players feel better. I'm really disappointed that he could not find a way to do something a little bit more with Lucas Torreira.
Well, it sounds like he's coming back in January.
I think that
say that again.
I just think that Lucas Torreira, it disappoints me that we weren't able to do something better with him. The way it's sort of turning out at the moment, letting him go out on loan and it hasn't worked. I know he got a little bit messed around by Emery, but you know, someone like Mikel Arteta coming in who speaks the guy's mother tongue, first of all, right? So he's right in there, be able to communicate with him, that he wasn't able to put his arm around him, convince him that it was a fresh slate. We're going to rip all of that away. You know, let's talk to you about what your favourite position are. Make him feel part of things. Because, again, Tanner, that match that you and I were both at, even though we weren't there together, you know, that the 4-2 under Unai Emery, I saw something in Torreira. He's got something now. Yep. And it disappoints me that we were not able to persevere with him. You know, he started to feel homesick by the end of it. Couldn't Mikel Arteta make him feel, you know, Mikel Arteta's Spanish as well. Couldn't you invite him around on Saturdays for paella or whatever they do, tapas, and, you know.
But then you have to ask yourself, why can't Simeone do that? Simeone's had a chance. And you want to say Simeone's better than Arteta.
Completely off the subject.
I don't think Simeone even invites his wife around for tea. I think he sits in a room of his own.
There's a spot at Borough Market in London that has the absolute best paella. Just throwing that out there. So, Stan, screw you for making me miss London even more right now. Anyway.
But seriously, though, I really feel disappointed that I think there was someone in there, in Torreira, and I think with the right arm around him, we could have had a good little guy in there, a good player in there. But
I mean, I would agree with you if he had a good loan spell in Atletico, but he hasn't. We're calling him like they don't want him.
You guys know my thoughts on him. He needs Stan. You're absolutely right on this. There's a player there. There is a player there. There is a reason that I dare say the vast majority of this fan base were over the moon at that signing, especially coming off a World Cup performance that he just had with Uruguay.
Yeah.
And then comes in and he has the beginning to the season that he had that basically culminated with the North London derby and the goal that he scored against the Scum in that early December game in 2018. He scored another goal in the next home match after that. The bicycle kick against Huddersfield. And that gave us a 1-0 win. There's something there. I'm telling you, there's something there, and he needs a coach. He needs a coach to bring it out of him.
The question is, do you guys think it's still there? Because to me, I don't think there is. Because
I don't think. Hey, to
me, Simeone would have fixed it. Why don't you think so?
The difference is because whenever somebody goes on loan, the expectation is that you start performing on game one.
Yeah, you're
right?
Okay.
What we could have done was performed over a longer time. And again, I remember my boy Chad, who's in the chat box, he had told me after the Huddersfield game that you guys have found your Vieira, because he was solid in midfield. We kept a clean sheet, and we were trying to get, our goal, which wasn't coming. And then he has a overhead kick, which he could have easily headed in, but he went for an overhead kick. That was exciting. And then it just went downhill from there. And again, Arteta, what did he do about this whole situation? He sent him out on loan, where he's not succeeded.
Now, I don't know if you guys heard this, but I think it was Jess last week. She said that apparently a bunch of people in the squad were making fun of Torreira too, which I'm sure it didn't help. I don't know how true that is. I didn't hear about Jess
training. I heard in training, and it was really weird. I was listening to a podcast, and it was it just come up really briefly, and basically it was along the lines of, no wonder he left, because apparently this person was saying that in training, Mesut Ozil has been relentless in picking on him, bullying him, making him feel uncomfortable. That it really got to Lucas Torreira. I don't know how true that is, because obviously Mesut Ozil's the golden boy that does no wrong. But just to answer Giannis's question, he said it a couple of times again. He said that he felt that maybe Arteta doesn't rate Lucas Torreira's technical ability. My answer to that would be, surely he can't rate what he's seeing from Willian's technical ability. And he keeps pushing him week in, week out.
Oh my God. Okay, hold on. I'm so sorry. Before I forget, I want to do my beer of the week. And it's fitting, swimming in chains, because that's what I feel like we're doing. We're just swimming in chains and we're locked down.
That's a pretty cool name.
But yeah, Front Porch Brewing, Wallingford, Connecticut. I drink a lot of Front Porch Brewing. So
I was gonna say, I think that was
swimming in chains. I wish you could show this a really cool monster.
If we aren't creating anything, if we are literally 20th in shots on target, shots in the second half, shots conversion, shots whatever, in terms of being creative, and our style of play has now changed from trying to go through midfield or doing a cutback to long balls in Stoke City FC all of a sudden, then who is Arteta not to blame then? I think that this team can do much better than what they're doing right now. And I'm not saying that they can get into the top 4, top 6, but they can do better than 15th right now. And they aren't doing it because they've lost faith in Arteta. And, if we needed to play this, then we could have just had Giroud,
So, it's so funny. And I think Andrew actually brought this up last week. And I think it was I think it was a Burnley game where we hit the post a couple times. But he goes, just the negative energy and everything like that. If we didn't have such negative energy, we wouldn't have such bad luck. It would have went in. And I've always, growing up, I was always like, what do you mean? That's bull. No, that's not true. But I do, and we did hit the post, I think twice. I think we hit the crossbar once, the post against Everton. And I'm not saying I completely agree on all these energies and all this, but I do believe we have run into a bad string of bad luck. And I do think that one of these days the ball is just going to bounce our way once, and that's all it's going to. I think that's all it takes.
No, we have been unlucky. Definitely, we've been unlucky. But then, on the flip side, have we done anything to turn the luck in our favor?
No, I agree. No.
In the same way, I would say that we are lucky in this. We've lost 7 out of 8. We should have lost that 8th one as well, because Leeds, I think, hit the post 2 or 3 times in that game.
Yeah.
They were unlucky to go with only 1 point.
I don't think there was anything unlucky about Eddie Nketiah missing that shot in that last. Nothing unlucky about that at all. This is a guy that he's kind of renowned for doing stuff in the box. He was right in the box, and he had so much of the goal to put that ball into.
Right now, they're just not playing with any sort of confidence or any sort of
zero bravery. Nobody's brave enough to do anything.
The previous game against Southampton, Ceballos went down in the box when he could have squared the ball, and the other one was coming in. What the hell was that about?
Exactly.
Right? Because these guys now know that they can't score a goal. They're just gonna try to do cheap tactics to scam the referee, which is not going to work, and it's going to dig them even deeper. And this whole thing is going to go on. We cannot sell 25 players at once, but what we can do is we can change the manager right now. This is not working out, and how much longer?
Wait, so you're out?
We won't sell 24 players at once, but what we can do is dig a big hole, throw them in, and just fill the soil in on top of them and walk away. But on a serious note, right, I want to ask you guys, and I'd like to ask everyone that's in the chat box as well.
I feel bad I didn't answer Tanner's question from before.
You never asked me.
You
never actually asked me. You hijacked it, and then we went on.
Yeah. And guess who hijacked it?
Your question was, right, do I think that Arsenal would get relegated, which I never got to answer, right? Well, I'll answer that question for you now.
And why or why not?
We'll get relegated because we're the bloody Arsenal. No! On a serious note.
I like it.
On a serious note, as I say, I've never been in this situation in my lifetime looking at what's going on. I would really like to think that we can somehow stave off relegation, but I'm a firm believer that the table doesn't lie. We're not there by unluck, because we haven't got luck, and we're not there because of the stats that Mikel Arteta wants to rule out. We're there because we deserve to be there right now.
Yeah,
we're a 15th-place table team. I don't know the answer to that tomorrow or the day after, but today the answer is yes, we are.
I don't think any of us do because we haven't. I still don't think we played our best 11 yet because of injuries and just everything. So I kind of it's weird. I feel like I disagree with Rohan, and then I'm kind of coming back to Rohan and thinking, I'm like, well, I mean, I don't think we're a 15th place team in the fact that if you really play our best 11, we had all the everything firing. Not even necessarily everything firing. I don't think we're a 15th place team.
We've had years with Danielson and with Shamak and Sanyogo and all of these idiots, and we've got into top 4. You are just playing too much emphasis on 2 or 3, 4 players being that bad. We have
that's right.
I think we've got a good core of maybe 6 first-team players who I think are genuinely good enough for us to get into the top 4. Maybe 5 are missing, but those 5 should not be able to push us from top 4 to 15th.
I have to agree with Rohan because we're hearing this argument that we've got no creativity. Because we've got no creativity, we have to play 5 at the back, and we can only put 2 midfielders in there. But we've had these games where we've played 4 at the back. We've had 3 in the midfield. What are you telling me that Willock, Saka, ESR, we have got no one. All right, don't talk about Ozil. He's not registered to play, so it doesn't matter. So you're telling me that we've got no one that we can't play a 4-3-3, let's say, formation with, 4-2-1-3, whatever it might be. We have got no one in there, no one at this club. So we have to play with 5 at the back and 2 in midfield. I don't buy it. And we've played games in the proper formation, and we've still looked like dog shit. And I'm inclined to agree with Rohan. The reason that is because there's something going on. They either don't like the manager. There's cliques. They're not getting on with each other. Because we should have a nucleus of players there that should be able to do something. There should be more points that we should have been able to have garner more points in some of the fixtures that we've had. So. This has to take the coaching staff. I'm just going to say Mikel Arteta. I'm going to say the whole coaching staff. Steve Round, a lot of them. This set piece coach that we're supposed to have, we were really proud of bringing on. I said,
Liverpool did it
out of a primary school. What's the point of having half the team or 3/4 of the team in the box if you can't get the ball past the first man? It doesn't make any sense. Now you've left yourself open if the ball pops out, and now everyone's running back to try and cover. It's pathetic. It's childlike.
To be fair, for Everton's second goal, they didn't get it past the first man. Mina just ran in front of our first man and headed it in. Maybe we should take
even before that, I've seen ones where we've just hit the ball from the corner and we've hit it into the side netting, or we've hit the ball so far over it goes out of play behind the goal. I mean, it really is worse than sometimes watching pub teams. And then don't even get me started on the throw-ins. I mean, it's the fundamentals of the game. It looks like they would just look like our players look totally bereft sometimes of the actual fundamentals of the game. So I think that this is what I'm coming back to the question that I asked. Do you think that the way out of this is that, let's say the board give Mikel Arteta a huge bag of money and we can get rid of some players? Is that going to be the answer? Is that what it is? Mikel Arteta just needs money to buy players and to get rid of players? Or do you think it's more than that?
I think it's more than that.
It's more than that, but I think we would be a lot better if he got that bag of money and he got rid of. You don't think so? If we got rid of Xhaka and Ozil and Kolasinac, you don't think we're going to be better for it? Then okay, I guess.
I mean, better in the standings? No. Better in the dressing room? Better mentality? Maybe? Sure. Better in the standings?
Yeah, I'd like to think
you can't put Ozil in that question.
Whatever. Then Xhaka, Kolasinac,
Lacazette isn't really playing. Lacazette, no. I mean it. I don't think we'd be better off without Lacazette, because the one thing that we've said about guys, one thing we've said about guys like Rob Holding and Mo Elneny, they might be 65, 70, 75% of our best players, but you're going to get 110% effort from those guys.
Yeah.
And Lacazette is in that same boat.
Yeah.
Maybe Lacazette's lost a step. I would say most of the time.
He's in that
most of the time. Alex Lacazette is busting his dick. And here's the other thing about Lacazette.
Champions League, but we're a better team if we could get rid of Xhaka. I get it. We don't play Kolasinac. But if we got to get rid, we got to just cut some of these people out. And I think, and you say, oh, yeah, Kolasinac doesn't play. Ozil's not named. Ozil, I think, is one of the kingpins in the squad. I think he controls a lot more than what we think. I think he controls.
Yeah. I mean, if that's the case, I want to.
Kolasinac is Robin, is Batman.
If that's the case, if that is legitimately the case, then who is it that steps up to the plate, goes to ownership, and says, "Okay, you need an authoritarian to come in here and." I know the references are going to be lost on probably most everybody, but again, stupid American. A Bill Belichick. I think most people know who Bill Belichick is. You need a Bill Belichick who, at the end of practice in training camp, at the end of every practice in training camp, in 95-degree heat, he's making his players run sprints uphill, because at the end of the game, you're going to be in better shape than the other guys. That's his mantra. Or a guy like Herb Brooks, who coached the 1980 men's U.S. Olympic hockey team, who was so pissed off at that team. If you've ever watched the movie Miracle, he made them do suicide sprints, goal line to blue line, back, goal line to half to center ice, back, so on and so forth. And then he basically just said, again. You guys have seen my tweets. Again.
You're so corny. I love you so much.
But it is. But that's what you need. You need somebody that's going to come in and look at them and say exactly what Herb Brooks said to that team. Gentlemen, you're not talented enough to win on talent alone. You need to give me a reason to keep you here.
Like,
but nobody will do that. And everybody seems to be afraid. I keep going back to this. Everybody seems, I don't want to hurt Aubameyang's feelings. Oh, I don't want to do this. Oh, I don't want to do that. And they pussyfoot around everything. Stop it. Who's the manager?
That's what we've done for 10 years.
And that's what I mean. So why do we keep doing that? Please go get the coach that's going to walk into the dressing room, look at every player, and go, "You're either in or you're out." And if you're out, get your stuff and go. At the end of every training session, you find a hill and you sprint up it. You're going to sprint up that hill until I get sick of looking at you. The power could get shut off from KSE not paying the power bill. You're still going to run up that hill if there's no lights. And then you look at the team and you go, who wants to quit? Who wants to be the first one? Who wants to be the first one to walk out that door? And then when they do, you give them the choice. And then when they do, and they say, you know what? Now, enough of this. Okay. And then you send them an email or whatever it is that they do, however they communicate, and you just say, don't come back. You'll get paid. Don't come back. You're done. Don't show up at training. You're not going to get a shirt. I mean, and maybe it's just a difference in
talking about.
I have to agree with Stefan Hedrantino in the chat.
Sorry, I've been looking at myself ranting, and I haven't been paying attention.
Thank you. Yes, we don't need more English.
He says US football is pointless. English football is run differently. I'd agree, but you know.
But Okay, but I don't think it is. That's the thing. I think Arsenal is run differently. You think Jurgen Klopp would put up with this stuff?
Let's face it. People say
I don't
this.
think David Moyes.
We're a retirement home.
Wait, Stan. Who did you just say?
I just said I don't think David Moyes would put up with this.
Exactly. And that's where I was. West Ham had a horrendous transfer window. They had a really bad transfer window. People thought that they were going to go down. They are
right from Brentford, didn't they?
Right now,
yeah.
they're 7 points ahead of us. They're 7 points ahead of us in 10th. They are 4 points outside of top 6. Right? West Ham, Newcastle, Crystal Palace. You're telling me these teams have a better squad and a better starting 11 than Arsenal?
Right now,
and if they have, and we are overpaying players.
A better squad.
What does right now even mean?
Better squad.
We're 15th right now.
Yes.
So
better squad. Yes. They have a better squad.
Maybe not Palace, but
because
I think
we're 11 individuals.
Yeah,
we're 11 individuals.
Whose job is it to put them together? It's the manager.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I think it's Arteta's and the players.
But
Arteta can't force them to be a team. If they don't want to be a team, they're not going to be a team.
But if he's not able to do that job, then he's out. If he cannot control you,
what if nobody could do that? You don't know.
No, how can nobody do that? How is that possible that nobody can do that? Then you try the next guy, and then you try the next guy.
But if you
have a kid,
11 players
and you get a babysitter. One second,
they won't be a team.
You have a
players not to be a team. Doesn't matter.
I need to ask a question. Wait, hang on. Wrong comment. Richard Francis. I need to ask a question. Who is Balloons, and what does he have that I don't?
I don't get it.
That's my only question. I just want to know who Balloons is and what he has that I don't.
Our players. Oh, I get it because you're blow like as in suck on. Yeah, okay, I got it.
Seriously, man, of all the people who's like,
I'm kidding.
I don't get it. Jeez.
It's like saying if you have a mischievous kid and then you get a babysitter and that person is not able to control it or a tutor, and then you're gonna be like, no, it's not the tutor's fault, it's my kid's fault. No, you get somebody else to do that.
But if your kids don't get along,
the long-term contract has been signed in the same way that the long-term contract has been signed with Aubameyang, with even Willian, who he wanted to get in, right?
Yeah.
What did he see? Like, how is there any confidence after him advocating for Willian to be in the squad?
This is what gives me the problem when I asked the question about are we going to give him the money in January and is that going to make it better? One of my biggest problems: the Willian signing, the Cedric signing, the
Luis extension,
David Luiz's contract extension.
I still stand by that. That was a good
all
deal.
of those things leave a terrible taste in my mouth. And as I understand it, Mikel Arteta, I know that those out there that really are, want to give Mikel Arteta a lot of passes. As I understand it, he was integral to these transfers, especially Willian.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit. I'm worried that there's no one at the club who's not reining him in. Steve Rowe's not putting his arm around him and going like, "Listen, why don't we sleep on Willian tonight? And we'll talk about it again in the morning after you've had some breakfast and you've got a full stomach. You might feel a bit different." There's no one doing that. They're just like going, "Yeah, okay, yeah, what, right, yeah." So
the best way, if I could just sum up us and like what we're talking about right now into one situation. I brought this up multiple times. I'll bring it up again. Is when Willian joined the club, and he said this in an interview. Willian and Luis apparently multiple times was on the phone to Oscar. You gotta come to Arsenal, Oscar. Oscar, come to Arsenal. I don't even know where is he. He's in China, I think, still, right? Oscar, are you kidding me? But like this is the problem. Is that they're like, oh, like we'll don't worry, we'll cut you a good deal. We'll get you on like $300,000 a week. Come on, let's come on over. Like that's our culture. That's what we're dealing with right now. And to single out Arteta, and I'm not saying anyone is singling out Arteta. To single out Arteta is crazy. And we're just, people say we're a retirement home, and like all these things are just adding up. And it's like, to me, again, that just epitomizes everything that's going on right now. And I'm not saying I'm Arteta in. I'm not saying I'm Arteta out. I am. I'm Arteta in right now, but because I just know we're not going to get rid of him. He's going to be here unless we get relegated. That's just how I feel. But I do question everything he's doing, and I don't agree on him playing Willian week in and week out. And some of these decisions are mind blowing. And I'm a huge ESR guy. ESR is someone I want to see play. I think he's a special talent. I think Balogun is a special talent. I've seen them play in the U23s. They are going to be players. But case in point for ESR, I think my biggest thing with him is he's had so many injuries in so many different areas of his body. He needs to get his hormones, his big boy hormones. I don't know what. I think he needs to go out, get a solid run of games. He did that for Huddersfield. I want to see him do it in the Premier League, and we're just not going to give it to him right now. And I think he needs to go out, maybe Sheffield, or hey, give him the Big Sam, But it's just things like that. I think we just need to. I don't want to throw ESR into the fire, but again, I go back and I go, well, all right, but I guess I'd rather play him than just jamming Willian in. And, Willian. I don't want to do that either. So it's.
So let me ask a question. So on the
I'm going to answer your question, Tanner. I promise.
If the choice is between Willian, who has been shit since Fulham match, or Pepe, who got himself sent off against Leeds when, I maybe had a chance to win that game, and maybe the sending off really hurt the chances of that. Who do you play? What is the lesser of the two evils? Because he's going to play one or the other. Reece Nelson's out of the equation based on fitness. He's hurt because he's hurt right now.
He just came back. He just came back.
He's not that hurt, but
he just came back.
But he's also not going to play. The only guys that could seem to get a shout in the Premier League are Willian or Pepe. So you either reward the guy that got himself sent off and hurt the team, or you're rewarding the guy who can't seem to kick a ball right now.
But that's the thing.
It's lesser of two evils. I know that.
I don't rewarding. We're in 15th place. We can't be giving out rewards and cookies and gold stars for everything that goes on in this club. Because like you just said, Pepe got a red card. Willian I know people are saying Willian's probably the worst signing we've ever done. I think it's a little bit of a hyperbole.
That's a stretch right now. I'm not ready to say that.
But it looks close. So
right out there.
Our team is so bad, we can't be worried about who's going to play it. Sorry, Ren, you good.
Sorry. So two things here, right? This whole situation that has been created, and another issue that we have is, what you said. It's not like I want to throw ESR into the fire. ESR is 20 years old. People generally make it at that stage. He doesn't feature for the first team at all.
Exactly.
What about
Wayne Rooney got thrown into the fire? Michael Owen got thrown into the fire.
I'm just scared because he's had so many injuries in so many different areas. I worry.
Names of young players that have had opportunity in their clubs got thrown into the fire, and it's either you got to find out whether someone will sink or swim at some point.
Exactly, and
that's why I want to give him to a championship. I mean, a bottom Premier League level team.
But why? It doesn't.
Because we're not going to play him. We're not going to play him.
Sancho is the same age, or maybe Phil Foden is the same age, or Mason Mount is around about the same age. These guys can play. These guys can play. Why can't ESR play?
I want him to play. If it's up to me, if I'm there, if you appoint me Arsenal manager tomorrow, I'm saying ESR is starting. I want him in, but he's not going to. So I don't want him to sit. Yeah, thanks, Mike. Fuck me. I know. Yeah, we are a bottom Premier League level team. But my point is we're not going to play him. I need him to play. I want him to play now because, like you both just said, I think he's going to make it. This is when they should be able to make it. We need to play him on a team. We need to loan him out to a team that's going to play him week in and week out. That's in the Premier League. I think we should.
Again, so doesn't this need to go back? Doesn't this need to go back to Arteta? It's not like we are spoiled for choice.
No, yeah,
it's not like we're Manchester City, right? That Foden can't get a game because we've got Mahrez and we've got Sterling and we've got De Bruyne and we've got whoever else. It's not like that. Nobody's performing, but this guy can't get it. If he's not good enough, then you sell him. Because we can't sit here and just wait for the next generation who are picking up spots in our Premier League squad but aren't featuring. That is on Arteta. Again, the same 100%. Thing that you guys were talking about right now. There's one guy who gets a red, the other guy who is not performing. But what was the difference in treatment when Pepe got a red? How did Arteta react after the game? And when Xhaka got a red, he was basically defending Xhaka, or like he didn't go. He didn't.
For that. There is a chance that maybe Mikel Arteta took so much heat after the way.
Yeah, Arteta regretted the way.
This is a learning curve, right? This is his learning curve, and I'm just saying, to play devil's advocate, maybe he realised that he went overboard. But I just wanted to answer Philippe Kaut in the chat room. He says, "At Stand the Man, was Cedric not a Signelli forcing it?" Well, this is the thing, right? I hear a lot of our fans talking about some of our signings, and it gets thrown over onto Signelli. Well, he's not at the club anymore. Right, so we can't use Don Raul as an excuse. So I look at some of the players, right, that we're being linked with now, right, that we're being linked with now. So I read that the board are going to unequivocally back Mikel Arteta in January, and then I look at some of the players that we're being linked with, and okay, some of it might be gossip and that, but they don't tickle my fancy. Christian Eriksen, no, thank you. Isco. Do me a favour, right? Here's Isco's stats, right? Let me tell you about Isco. Let me tell you his stats, right? In the 2016-2017 season, he played 30 games. He scored 10 goals and he got 8 assists, which is not a bad return. In 27-18, he played 30 games. He got 7 goals, 7 assists. In the 2018-19 season, he played 27 games. He scored 3 goals. He got 2 assists. And in the 2019-2020 season, 23 games, 1 goal, 2 assists. This season, 9 games, nothing. It's got nothing, no goals, no assists. This is a player that's not improving. This is a player that's declining. To me, this would just sound like bringing in another Willian or another Ozil, someone that's going to come in, be on high wages, because he's from Real Madrid, right? So he has to be on big wages, and he's going to do absolutely sweet FA. I don't want to be linked with these players. And I've seen people on Twitter going, "Oh, Isco, we should get Isco in. We should move him." Why? Based on what?
No.
Based on what? Because he's got one of them cool 4-letter names that's on the back of the jersey, and he plays.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'm sorry, and I know my mum might be listening. So shut your ears, mum. That's just pure bullshit. I'm not buying into it. Exactly. That's what she's doing right now. I'm not buying into it. I just will not buy into that. You're telling me that he's telling me that a player like Isco is our future? Stroll on. It's not happening. No. And what I'm saying, and the reason I'm coming around to this now is, this is not Don Raul saying that he wants Isco. You have to say that Mikel Arteta has to, if these rumours are true, first of all, and we're only speculating, right? We're only speculating, but this has to be someone that Arteta's all over.
The only thing I will say about you.
Hold on a minute. Did Mike say that he liked the 2014 Isco? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's got stats ready for 2014 Isco. Go, Stan. Go.
2014 Isco played 34 games, the most games he's ever played in a season. He got 4 goals.
Drop it knowledge, Stan. You let Mike know. Mike, you're an idiot.
He got 9 assists, though, which ain't too bad. You know, he's not improving. This guy is not improving. He's not on an upward trajectory. The guy's falling off a cliff, and he's going to save us? No, I don't want to spend the money that we're going to be saving on people like Ozil and all of that. Why are we going to spend it on someone like Isco?
To be fair, I'll backtrack because you just talk about Eriksen. I don't want Eriksen, but if it means getting rid of Xhaka, Eriksen, I'll personally autograph his kit when he joins the club, Eric. I'll personally, because we're famous, are we? We're not famous. Bro, if you want, I'll give you the we can all autograph it. Table Arsenal USA. Thanks for coming. See you later, idiot Xhaka.
Would I swap Xhaka for Eriksen and maybe a 2-year deal? Yeah, I could probably swallow that because I just want Xhaka to get away, right? But we'd probably do something stupid like give Eriksen a 5-year deal.
Okay, now, yeah. Well,
ironclad. Do you know what I mean? Here's your dressing gown. Here's your slippers. There's a seat next to David Luiz.
Yeah. Dinner's at 5. Game nights are Thursdays.
Yeah.
You know, your orderly will be around here.
If he's on the roster after a certain amount of years.
Hot towel, Christian. Oh, don't mind if I do. Puts hot towel on your face. Do you know what I mean? Right. What's going on here?
Oh my God! This is what 15th feels like, huh? talking about Isco and Eriksson and.
Let me ask a different question. It's something I started thinking about earlier, and I want to go back to something that Stan said a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about playing the youth in the Premier League games, and Stan, you had said you were afraid of ruining two teams. So let me ask in a different way: are we ruining two teams by not playing the youth? In other words, if Arteta's lost the veteran players, the David Luiz, the Aubameyang, so on and so forth, if he's lost them, is he losing the youth by not playing them when they're standing there seeing the mess that's on the field that's getting trotted out there every weekend, and there they are like, and I can go out there and lose better than they do. You know what I mean? So are we ruining two teams by not playing the youth at this point because they're looking at it saying, well, if you're going to let them keep going out there and dropping shit all over the pitch weekend in and weekend out, forget you. I don't want to play for you.
I think the simple answer to that is Balogun's still not signed a contract, and he's talking about going to one of our rivals.
I was going to say, yeah, they'll just leave. It's not about them as players won't get ruined. They'll just leave and join another. If
Balogun goes to Liverpool, is there an absolute is that the final straw with this fan base and this club?
Balogun's just gonna that's the thing I don't get. Everyone's like, oh, Liverpool and Balogun. If the rumors are true, which they could be, might not be, we don't know. He's just gonna go out on loan again. He's not gonna. People think he's gonna be in Liverpool and he's gonna have a chance to play with Salah and Mane and Firmino. He's gonna go right back. Look at Rhian.
That's fine. But that's fine.
Look at Rhian Brewster. Maybe
Balogun is looking at it
and he's not doing anything.
Maybe Balogun looks at it and says, "Yeah, okay, I'll go to Liverpool. I'll go out on loan." But I see that there's a process here. I see why I'm going out on loan.
Well, yeah,
I'm going to go out on loan. I'm going to play every game for a championship side or a lower table Premier League side, and I'm going to come back and in 2 years I'm going to be the man at Liverpool.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is if I'm Balogun, yeah, if you're him, you're like, oh well, I'm going to take Salah's spot. I'm going to take Firmino's spot. I'm going to take Mane's spot. So obviously you're going to be all for it. But
if we can't retain an academy player like Balogun, who should probably have Arsenal coursing through his veins, then that will be the time that I will stick that first pin into my Mikel Arteta voodoo doll.
It does exist.
It does.
They do exist.
Yeah.
I thought of the M&M commercial.
I literally saw the M&M commercial right before I came on the podcast. That's probably why it's in my head. But yeah. So anyways, Tanner, to answer your question about the relegation, no, we will not get relegated. And the reason why I don't think we're going to get relegated is because you and Rohan brought it up. I just think that the players won't let that happen because I think there is just enough talent. And I think there's 3 teams worse than us. And on top of that, I think the players are going to just keep us up because if we get relegated, they're taking a pay cut.
25%.
These players aren't going to want, what? I can't live my lavish lifestyle? I'm taking a pay cut? No. We got to stay up in this Premier League. Aubameyang, score a hat trick real quick, and then do this, do that. It's all But
according to some people, because you're obviously right. You're right. If that happens, they lose 25%. That comes to a total of just over £37 million. But then, hold on. That's obviously what Arsenal want to do because remember the reason that we're not playing Ozil. It's not because he's shit and don't fit into our team and is a lazy sod. It's because Arsenal want to save the money on his appearance fee. Remember that. Remember, people are peddling that, right? They are peddling that. So if Arsenal, so forget that. If you know what I mean, Ozil could be banging in the assists because we want to save money. We're excluding him. So Arsenal should be rubbing their hands with glee then that there's a prospect of us being relegated to say that 25%. Pathetic. Come on. Come on. Get a grip.
How bad is the whole relationship fractured now that you got to remember that if we get into the Europa League spots now they get 6% more. If we get into the Champions League spots they would have got 12% more. Right. But they aren't even playing for that. These players don't want that money. They want Arteta gone. Yeah. So
I don't know. I don't agree with that.
I'm still picking up 200 grand. So
you guys all, I don't know, like the vibe to me felt like you guys are still Arteta in. I have obviously, I'm off that train now.
You crossed over. Rohan,
why? Can you guys tell me why you are?
Yeah, I was just getting ready to. I was just getting ready to actually, because there's nobody else that's going to come in and do the job.
Exactly.
So if there's nobody else that you're going to get, and again, this is where the mentality of the fan base, for me, it drives me nuts, because we're Arsenal. Jesus himself wants to descend from heaven, and the coming, and before he snatches up all the Christians and they have their come to Jesus moment, literally their come to Jesus moment, he wants to manage this football club. In other words, Max Allegri ain't coming here.
Any worse, could he?
Yeah, right. Max Allegri ain't coming here. I don't even know who else is out there right now to say, well, he's a better coach and a better manager than Arteta that doesn't currently have a job.
Yeah, right.
I keep telling you.
There are guys that are employed, but they're not going to leave.
Right.
Why would they
because
leave their
even
current
Big
coach?
Sam has been snapped up now. So
Yeah, Sam, who's your go-to? Jack Pardue, right?
Alan Pardew, man.
Alan Pardew.
Or Alan Pardue, what I say? Yeah, Alan Pardue. Yeah. That's
Alan Pardew jig.
Pochettino all the way. Why not? Like he suffered for years with Spurs where they didn't win shit and they didn't give him any money. At least Arsenal gives more money to their managers than Pochettino.
He's not coming here because Arsenal won't throw the money at him that it would take.
Why isn't there a league that Arsenal are trying to get?
Because that amount of money for Pochettino would be, I wouldn't pay it for him. Because for Pochettino to come here, you have to basically, if this makes sense,
money.
you have to buy out his loyalty to the scum. You have to pay him to be the manager, but you also have to pay him on top of that to say, and now here's enough money for you to say, wait, who was that other team? There's another club.
They sacked him. Wait. Mourinho said when he was at Chelsea, he said that I'm never going to manage Tottenham.
Yeah.
He was asked this in the interview. What did he say? At that time, I was Chelsea manager. They didn't sack me till then. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
I
was a big Wenger and Wenger proponent because I knew that the problems were much bigger than Wenger. Okay, but there were slumps in his time. But we would go maybe 2 games, 3 games of having a bad time, and then we'd bounce back. It's been 8-10 games now, and there's no bouncing back now. There's nothing. Yeah. So, I mean, I have no reason to believe that he can take us back. So try for a Pochettino. Try for whoever, someone else who can come in and sort of steady the ship, who has that experience. And I do believe that Arteta can be a very good coach and in the future probably a very good manager. But and Arsenal, the size of this animal is just too big for a newbie. It's not Arsenal of 1996.
Let me ask. So I mentioned Sheffield earlier, and this kind of leads into the question that was on my mind when I brought this up.
I know. You're not going to say it, are you?
I mean, if they sacked Wilder at Sheffield, because let's face it, last year at this time when we were talking about hang on, what? Last year at this time when everyone before this time last year.
No, you're right.
A lot of folks were talking about Chris Wilder at Sheffield.
You're right. They were. I heard them. Yeah.
I'm not. It's just a question. I'm not saying I would take them because they're bad. Boy,
I have never
bad.
I have never fallen for that trap. So I remember in 2013 time, there was this whole thing of Roberto Martinez. He was the flavor of the season with Wigan, and he should replace Wenger. I was like, no, he can't do the job. He got sacked at Everton. He got relegated with Wigan, and then he came to Everton, and then he got sacked from Everton as well, right? The same thing with Eddie Howe.
So Eddie Howe got mad.
Eddie Howe got relegated, and now this guy Chris Wilder. you need a person who has managed egos of these top players, not guys who can just tell people to run around and they're just gonna run around. That's not what you need. You need a person who's handled those egos, and that's why you need a Pochettino. That's why you need guys like this. Pochettino.
We have to remember when
he's not coming here.
He's not going to.
I still believe that the reason they went for Arteta was because they knew they had to get rid of Emery. And you have to remember, Emery left before his contract was up, which meant that Arsenal had to pay him off. And Arsenal must have hated doing that, especially at that time. Here's money that we're never going to see again. Bye. And then what did they do? They went out and got the cheapest manager they could find. Because let's face it, if you put up what Mikel Arteta is getting paid to what someone like a Pochettino is going to command, he's getting maybe 2.5 to 3 times less than what a Pochettino. He's on what? He was on 5 million when we appointed him, right? He took a pay cut as well after that, didn't he? And you got what's his face? You got Pochettino. He's going to be in a what? He's going to ask for either 10 to 15, somewhere around there. I just don't see Arsenal doing it.
No, I'm not sure Pochettino would come here for it.
Plus, they're also going to have to pay off Mikel Arteta, right? He'll have to leave. He'll have to leave with an envelope of money as well.
Right. That's why I'm Arteta in. Why I'm Arteta in right now is because there's just nobody else out there. If there was another option that was viable, based on the criteria that we're all kind of talking about, and Rowan, somebody that's managed these egos before, so you want the experienced manager to come in and do this. I mean,
if Everton can get Ancelotti, why can we not get someone of quality? If Everton can get Ancelotti, if Spurs can get Jose Mourinho,
but they weren't employed at the time.
Everton didn't even look at Arteta when they had the chance to, right? And you would have to say that if you're going to ban the word around legend, I would say that Mikel Arteta is more of an Everton legend than he is of an Arsenal legend. And I don't think that he was an Arsenal captain. He was never a legend. He was an Arsenal captain.
Okay, so to Mike's comment, when I read this, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the GIF of it's like a blonde-haired girl with pigtails going.
Oh yeah, the little girl.
When Mike said that, I'm like that. And honestly, that's how I feel about Arteta. I'm like, oh, what do I do? I guess gun in my head, I'm Arteta in, but he again, and I think this is why I keep saying this. He plays these players, he plays the Williams, he plays the Xhakas week in, week out because he wants these guys to bury themselves so he can get rid of them quicker and he could get more money and support from the management so he could use it. And it sounds crazy, but
too much at stake.
Yeah, exactly. And I think deep down he thinks some of these Arsenal fans think, I'm not getting relegated. We're Arsenal Football Club. I'm not going to listen. I may screw this team up. We may finish 15th, 16th. I may be the laughing stock for a couple seasons, couple months. But we're not going to get relegated. We're Arsenal Football Club. I can screw the pooch. I can do whatever I want. I'll get the Xhakas out of here. I'll get a bag of money and peace out.
I think there's a lot of players thinking I couldn't give. Again, sorry, Mum. I couldn't give a fuck if we are relegated because I'm leaving in the summer. It's not going to be my problem. It'll be Elfie's problem. I'll be long gone.
No,
here's what Mike just said. Right now, I'm everyone over 27 out. So everyone over 27 is too old.
That means
but everyone under 23 is too young to be thrown into the fire. So we've left ourselves with a 3-year prime. This is
you gotta be 23 to 26.
That's saying Bella.
23 to 26, but born in this part of the country, and then must have played exactly this position and that. See, I'm not saying that, and it's not so much. It's a plea to Arsenal football. And if we at some point, I was I used to be optimistic. We will go for the title, foolishly so, but we will go for the title. Then we will go for top 4. I just want to see some decent football, which I have not seen for the past 2 seasons. Yeah, I just want to see us being competitive in the race of that top 6, the term that I hate, because as Arsenal Football Club, I am entitled. I want to be in top 4 because everybody used to say at that point when Wenger was there, that how bad could it be with these players? Somebody else can do a much better job. We are 15th now, and we shouldn't be 15th, and that needs to change. And that's not going to change by just getting rid of these players. And we should be up higher up the table. You know, Crystal Palace, Newcastle, West Ham, all of these guys, they aren't better than us. Southampton, how has that guy turned it around? Ralph Hasenhuttl. He got 9 mil by Leicester, and now we fear them when we play them. They get a draw, they feel hard done by, and they're much higher up at the table. He's turned it around. Why can't Arteta turn it around?
It's easy because they've got, I would say, you know, their players, they've got shit players and compared to us, but what they've got that we don't have is a team. They have a team.
And whose job is that?
It's
the players. It's the players too. It's the players too. If the players don't want to be a team, they're not going to be a team. I don't care who you get in. If Aubameyang doesn't like Gabriel, if Tierney doesn't like Ceballos,
they're not going to be a team. Ever get the sack? Why should any manager get the sack then?
Here's Ryan's point. Let me. This is a bad. It's a good example, but it's a bad example. It's the drunk that doesn't realize they're an alcoholic. They don't think they have a problem. So no level of help that you try to give them, they're not going to make a change. So in other words, the players are the drunks. They don't think they have a problem. So they're not going to listen to Arteta, no matter how good the message might be. They're just not going to listen to him. So it's a double-edged sword because, Rowan, you're right. It's the manager's job to bring them together. But Ryan's also right that if the players are so closed off to the manager, and again, hate to keep using this example, but Jesus himself could come down, and if they're not open to it, Jesus isn't going to change this.
I'm not saying you're
both right.
I'm not saying you're wrong, Rohan. I'm just saying a manager can't force a team to play like a team.
I'll say this: it's Edu's job right now to kind of bring his name up because there's a name that a lot of people are throwing around that we haven't really talked about. But it's kind of Edu's job to look at the situation and say, okay, so which is it? Is it the players that are closed off to the manager, or is it the manager doesn't have the tools to bring these players together and make a team? And then Edu needs to figure out, okay, if it's the manager, then he goes. It's as simple as that. But if it's the players and you believe in the manager, which is where I think we're at right now, then you have to do the best you can do.
Edu, right? This is where I am with Edu. When Willian was first coming to the club, it was all Edu. This is what he said. Yeah, because we're getting Edu because he can come in now. He's basically was saying that, you know, he's oven ready, man. He doesn't need to settle on nothing. He's been at Chelsea. He knows the Premier League. He can come in and help us now. What did he say last week when someone asked him about when he was asked in his interview that he done about Edu? He said, "This is what he said. What, you think that he would be able to just come in straight away and not without settling? Totally the opposite. Totally opposite. And that's exactly what I think about Edu. He pays lip service. He's in over his head. He should have gone with Don Raul because he was tainted by that as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And as I've said before, if we decide to get rid of Mikel Arteta tomorrow morning, I do not think that Edu has the qualifications to recommend a replacement to the board. That is nowhere near what he should be doing, but that in reality would be the job that he would be tasked to do.
So listen, shout out to Mike Hers, who's my spirit animal. I'm a loyal bitch. I am, I swear. But the real Giannis in the chat has said it, and he's kind of speaking to me right now, and I promise it's nothing serious. Someone who I believe, and I said this when we had Emery as our manager. Granted, I wanted this person as our manager, but as a DOF, I think he'd be just as good, if not better. I would love to see Ralph Rangnick come into this and make shit happen. I think he can. I think he's great. I think he's got really good ties to the Bundesliga, who, to me, I think the Bundesliga is getting better and better every year. Shout out to my boys in Stuttgart who are killing it, who I think we would love to have some of their players, but whatever. I'm not going to talk about that. But I think, again, I think Jess brought it up last week, and Stan's kind of alluding to it. You know, I'm not a big Edu guy. I don't know if he has, you know, I don't know if he has what's best for us. But, you know,
this is the reason why we can't get someone who's not experienced, who's not managed at that level, who doesn't know what they're doing, because we don't have any trust in Edu. Now we don't have trust in the in the board. So the only person that we can trust is the manager, and the manager needs to be top quality. Yeah, I in fact read that there was some sort of there was some sort of
Oh, Mike,
I think like a little bit of Shakespeare to like weave its way into the podcast.
And it's funny too. Growing up, one of my favorite goalies was Edwin van der Sar. I know. I'm so sorry, Man U. I apologize.
I saw a report that we are trying to bring him in or something.
It's up to Edu to recommend the next manager. Our next Arsenal, the next manager will be that bloody Kia Jacobian. That's who he would recommend. And the thing is, the board will probably go, okay.
I think that's the thing. I'm not, and then kind of going to the question, I'm Arteta in because I don't think we're going to get anybody. I don't think we're going to get anybody better. And I think really the board, I think, is just really screwing us up. Oh yes, I love a good penis joke. Shout out to you, Manny.
You could have just left the word joke out of that statement because we all know that's true too.
Megan is a woman, okay? You leave her out. Anyways, no, but I just think that
don't ever do that to me again.
So it's funny because everyone says, "Oh, the job is too big for Arteta," and Rohan had said it, and to some extent, I agree with you. But I think in a more grander scale and a bigger problem is I think the job is too big for Edu because, like I've always said, I'm going to say it every podcast. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. It was a one-time thing, Mike, but whatever. I'll let it slide. I think Arteta wasn't brought in to fix the project. Arteta is the project, and I just think Edu is not the guy.
I don't swear on this, but
if he's not the project, he wouldn't be here. He would have been sacked already.
Ryan, man, like fuck, I was going to say Alex.
I love you.
Like, I don't know why. Like, listen, we are not running a charity here. This is Arsenal Football Club. We should be up there. We are not here to build up somebody else's career and to sell them off. Those days are gone. Come on.
Rohan, I love you so much. I agree with you, but my point is it goes back to the metaphor I gave. You know, when Wenger left, we have to properly untie the shoes to tie him back to get to where we were. But when we brought Emery, he just said, I think this is how you do it. And he just nodded, not. And now you bring in Edu, you bring in Raul is like, yeah, I think this is how you do it. And they just said, hey, we'll throw some money your way. We'll sign Pepe. We'll do some things. But I'm telling you, this is not the way. And as much, again, I go back to just what I said. People say, oh, the job's too big for Arteta. And to some extent, I agree. I'm telling you, Edu, and we need to. Well, I don't even know. I don't know if I want Edu out more or do I just want a director of football more. I think I probably lean toward the latter, just because we can't be giving too much power to two guys. And it goes back to kind of what I said with Arteta. I'm Arteta in for now, but I don't like the fact that we promoted him to a manager. I don't think he's up to scale. He's up to the task. He's a rookie. He's a noob. As a little video gamer, he's a noob. I think we just need to, give him as, I guess, little responsibility as far as like, I do want him to bring in players that he wants so he could coach up. But when we promote him to a manager, I was like, oh man, this isn't good. This isn't going to be good. You kind of have that like, in the movies, they're like, what could possibly happen? And then fast forward, like the whole building explodes. And then that's kind of how I felt, because I just think that Arteta is a rookie and you give him the job at that point I thought was kind of big for him, and you're going to give him more responsibility. I don't think that makes sense. But shout out to Gio. Thank you for the super chat. Tanner, go for it.
Finally found you, Stan. Question is, who's responsible for letting Benasser come to my club Milan instead of re-signing him for $4 million? Who is letting your young talent like Eunice spend? I got to be honest. I don't understand this question at all.
Gio makes it sound like I used to be a prisoner of his, and I finally got away, and he's tracked me down. Thanks for stopping by. He's an old friend that used to be in a few other chat boxes of other podcasts that I've been involved with. So thank you so much for popping by, Gio, and also thank you so much for the super chat. But I mean, you're right in a way. I mean, I think I get what you're saying there with the questions. With the question there, I mean, Ivan Gazidis was at the helm, right, for much of that, and now he's over at your club, Gio. I mean, you tell us, Gio, how is Ivan Gazidis doing as your new GM? Are you happy with the work that he's doing behind the scenes? Let us know.
I actually hear he's doing a good job.
I've heard that as well, but I wouldn't mind hearing it from someone that's a little bit closer. But also as well, Holodonkey, again, I think he's hit the nail on the head. I mean, I think the man that we need to have inserted in there is Mark Overmars. You know, he's done a lot of good things over in the Eredivisie with Amsterdam, Ajax, and who was the other club that he was attached to? I can't remember. He was attached to another club over there that he done really well with. So, yeah, I'd like to bring him in if that was something that was going to happen. But I mean, you know, who's making these decisions? Who's making these appointments? Who would be the person that would make that decision? Would a do make that decision? Would a do look at an appointment like that as someone who may encroach on the power that he already has?
Well, wouldn't Overmars basically be taking Edu's job? Or would I mean, Overmars isn't going to come in and work under Edu. He's either going to take Edu's job or he's going to work above him.
Or why can't he work alongside him?
I mean, theoretically, yes, you work above. I would say just in terms of the hierarchy, I would think that Overmars would come in and be a step above.
We were heading in the right direction, I think, when we appointed someone like Sven Mislintat. All right, not all of his signings were hits. Some were, some weren't. But I still think that having someone like him embedded in where he was in the club, I thought that was a move in the right direction. And I think, again, another sign of mismanagement.
I get it. I think you're funny.
Oh, Mike.
Yeah,
it's so funny you bring up Sven because, again, I don't want to be that guy, but I'm going to be. You know, look what he's doing for Stuttgart. They have a lot of they have the youngest lineup in the Bundesliga, and they just got promoted, and they're already in the hunt for Europa. So
I'm going to ask one more. I'm going to ask one more question, and then I'm going to give you guys each a final say, and then we're going to duck out because we've got about 10 minutes to 2 hours here.
Okay.
So, final question to each of you is this: Had Arteta recognized the distress that we were in earlier and started playing more of the youth, and we were floating around 10th, 12th, better than 15th, but not markedly better, 10th, 12th, somewhere in that range, would you settle for seeing the youth play for the rest of the season in the Premier League, but we finish mid-table, 10th to 12th? Would you accept that, or is it
as opposed to what?
As opposed to what we have right now?
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to get relegated. And let's face it, at the end of the day, if you finish 16th, if you finish anywhere from 7th to 17th, given the top 6 all qualify for Europe the way they should, 7th through 17th. It's just how much money do you make? Other than that, the spots are meaningless.
Yeah, I want to know whether the kids are good enough. I want to see them now. I don't want them to be hidden away. I'm at the stage now where it's time to we're taking off your stabilizers, ESR. It's time for you to go out there and you're going to show me whether you can sink or swim.
That's where I'm at with it. At this point, they can't do any worse. So I've been saying this for weeks. They can't do any worse. Ryan, I know you said you'd want to send him out on loan because you don't want to throw him to the fire, but at this point,
just ESR, not all of them.
Stick them out there, throw them to the Wolves, and let's go. So, Rowan, would you take 10th to 12th with the youth playing over what we're getting right now?
So,
I guess maybe the better question to ask is, would you take?
It's complicated in the sense that I would have wanted to see, or I do want to see some chopping and changing, some intent to be changed. But then at some point, we do know that there are quality players. I agree that even players like Aubameyang, etc., need to go out of the team. But would I feel that they need to be out of the team until the end of the season? No, he's got to find a way to incorporate them back into the team and get them firing. If he's not able to do that job, he's not doing 50% of his job. So that's the whole story, right? So you make changes to turn the ship around. You do whatever you have to do. You play different formations. It's like how we went to 3 at the back and won the FA Cup in 2017, right? We were in really bad form, playing 4 at the back, and then the flavor of the season was playing 3 at the back with Chelsea playing the 3 at the back. And Wenger did the same, and that enthused the team, and we sort of finished strongly, and we won the FA Cup. There should be some difference that is being made, but the problem with Arteta is that he's not made any changes till now. He's persisting with the same players, and I'm not. You see, I believe more in the process than just the results, although it is a results business. But I have not even seen the process, let alone the results. That is the issue right now. So it would not be just enough if he played the youth till the end of the season, because that means that the next time we get high-profile players and they down tools, they're going to be out for the whole season, and we're just going to have to play youth. That's not what I want from my manager.
Let me get the super chat in here real quick, Ryan, before I come to you. So, Gio, thank you again for the kind donation, man. Really appreciate it. Gazidis is sticking to sponsorship, and he hired Maldini, who is signing all this young talent. He's just making the brand bigger, which is paying off. So, based on that, I would say that Gazidis is doing a fairly good job at Milan. So, yeah, which begs the question: what happened here? Jesus. And
it's been the wrong fit. Sometimes it can happen with a player, right? They go to one place and it's just a bad fit. They go to somewhere else and they do really well, Yeah. And it sounds like that's what's happening with Ivan.
Yeah.
He was never a really good fit at Arsenal, I always felt. And I was surprised that it always seemed that he wanted to have a little bit more power. And as soon as he got an opportunity to have a bigger chair at the table when Arsene went, and he told us that he was starting this new triumvirate. They brought in Mislintat, and then it just felt like he walked away before he'd finished what he'd started, and that's what I didn't like. That he finally was given the reins. He made us some promises of what was going to happen, and then before any of that kind of materialised, he just went, nah, sod that, and just trotted off to Italy. So
yeah. So going back to what I said about Willian. Oscar, come. I think it's the same for the board, too. We brought Edu in as as someone who, at least from mine, I could be wrong, to my understanding, I know he's held previous jobs, but he hasn't really have that much experience. So you're going to give him you're going to come aboard, you're going to do some things. And then now all of a sudden, Raul's gone. He's it's like you go in for an interview, you want to be in the mailroom. Next thing you know, you got a cozy office. You're like an executive of some kind of brand, and you're like, "What the fuck did I get here?" That's our club in a nutshell. That's what happens, and I think that's how Edu came in. Always doing Raul's thing. Next thing you know, he's got a chair that goes backwards. It swirls around. He's got people working under him. He's this is pretty fucking awesome.
His coffee. He's loving it.
He's got an assistant. He's got his own special voicemail. I mean, the club is just, we talk about the players, we talk about Arteta. The club has so much poison in it, and you want to say Ozil, he's got the poison. It's the entire club. I don't want to blame the Kroenkes because I don't really think it's them either. Maybe it's the way they hire, but I don't think it's them as people. But I think it's just we're hiring mailroom efficient people to do executive jobs, and it's obviously biting us in the butt, as you can see.
That's a great analogy, by the way, Ryan. I love that. We've hired them for the mailroom, man, and we've given them the keys to the executive toilet. They've got
the executive. Yeah. All right. So do you take 10th to 12th with the youth over?
Yeah, I'm not a fancy Fenchton, I promise you, but I don't. To me, it's not. There's no two squads. It's not a young squad and then the senior squad. To me, you have to slowly integrate this team. If you throw the young kids out there, they're gonna fall on their faces. Then what do you do? Because then their confidence is shot. And the senior players need to be like, this is another podcast. Cool, another podcast. I don't care. This is what I'm saying. So you listen to me, and I'm going to say this.
If we wreck the youth, we fall back on the girls. That's plan.
Yeah, so if the young players don't do the job, you have the young players going, man, maybe I'm not Premier League worthy. And then you have the senior players going, screw this manager. He's playing these young guys and they can't do the job.
Yeah.
Because hindsight's 2020. These senior okay, cool. We're just bringing up stuff. The senior players, they don't know that they're currently in 15th right now in this reality. If you're playing the young guys and they're in 10th, like, we could do way better than these young guys. We can't do this. No, you do neither. You have to slowly integrate these young guys into the squad. You can't be having two teams. I get it. You have a Europa squad, you have a Premier League squad. I get that. But as far as like bringing youth into the team and to bring youth to see if they actually, have what it takes, you can't be playing the youth as a team. You can't be playing the academy kids, the under 23 as a Premier League squad. It's not going to work. It will not work. I promise you, it will not work. You have to slowly integrate, and that's my not so answer. But we won't get relegated. Because I don't want to see Max get a Prince Albert. So please don't get relegated. Arsenal.
And you would watch.
I'd have popcorn. I'd have beers, but I'd be upset about it.
Oh Lord! All right,
Prince Albert. Are we talking about watching him getting the Prince Albert? Or
yeah.
All right, yeah. I'd watch that, but not because I want to. But that's scary, driving down the motorway, you see an accident, flames on the other side. You slow down to have a little bit of a look because you can't believe it. I'd probably do that. And then I would probably regret what I've seen for a very, very, very long time.
And let's face it, everyone that's ever seen Arse Bros, Max claims he's got he knows what he's doing. He claims he's black from the waist down. He's half black. He does all these things, Max. Listen, I want to see if he,
we go through.
I want to see what the Australians are working with. Okay, I want to see if they're up to par with the Americans. I'm curious. Whatever. It is what it is.
We hit the 2 hour mark and we're off the rails.
Some say on winter nights, Max paints it red and white and uses it as a scarf, but who knows?
A nice utility belt, perhaps.
Rohan, the final word from you, please.
I know that things aren't going to change. I know that Arteta is not going to get the sack. So till the time he's there, every time there's 90 minutes, tomorrow I have blocked off my calendar 3 to 5. I'm going to be sitting there watching Arsenal versus Manchester City, hoping for a win. And that's what I'm going to do on Saturday as well, on Boxing Day. I love Boxing Day. I love festive fixtures. I love how they come thick and fast. It's just dreaded this time, but I hope against hope. After saying all of this, I hope that, Chelsea, I don't really know how much we're going to get, but after that, we've got Brighton. Well, not easy. They did the double on us, but Brighton, West Brom, Crystal Palace, winnable game. So I would want Arteta to go on a run of form. If we aren't going to, sack him, I mean, till we don't sack him, I'm going to back him. And, that means that every time I go in, I'm going to, hope for an Arsenal win. So, yeah, that's where I'm at.
And please, everybody in the chat, follow us on Twitter. I want to follow you guys too. I promise I'll follow you guys back. Listen, as much as me and Rohan disagree, I love talking to him. It's my boy. I love agreeing with him. I love disagreeing with him, and the same with you guys. Follow us. I love talking about Arsenal because it's something that I can all speak for you guys and say we're all passionate about it. We all care about this club. We all want to see us at the end of the day succeed and win shiny things and see players celebrate and have a good time. And whether we disagree or disagree, I would love to talk to you guys. So please follow all 4 of us, and we'll follow you back and keep it in touch.
So I wasn't going to go to you next for your final thought, but I guess you just kind of took the bull by the horns there. I like it, Stan.
Go watch Arse Bros. Arse Bros are awesome.
You know what? My final thought is the next time that we're going to be back here with everybody, Christmas would have passed. It's probably going to be, for a lot of people, one of the weirdest Christmas periods that they've probably ever going to encounter. A lot of people aren't going to be able to see friends and loved ones as much as they're probably used to doing at this time of year. So in between now and then, there's going to be a couple of games or so. Let's hope that the next time that we all reconvene and are back together, we can probably talk about something cheerful, like a win, an Arsenal win in the Premier League. I'd just also like to say that for everybody that's been with us since we started the Same Old Arsenal USA, the awkward little stepchild of the great show that is the Same Old Arsenal, thank you all for coming in here week after week. To those of you that have joined us tonight, and I've seen that there are some new faces, and I've seen some old faces join us, like Gio. We usually do this on a Tuesday night. Yeah, don't get it twisted. It's not a Monday thing. We usually do this shit down on a Tuesday night. So mark us in your diary for Tuesdays. And as I lovingly call all of you guys in the chat box, the 12th man, thank you for being there with us through these times. Especially, it seems like since we've been doing this podcast, other than Europa Leagues, we don't really have much wins to talk about. But you keep
really.
I mean, last week you stuck with us for almost 5 hours. So I just want to say to all of you out there, have a great Christmas. And I, for one, am looking to talk with you all again just after the Christmas period. Thank you all.
Here. Real quick, Mike, thanks for putting this out there. I didn't know this, and thanks for being here and letting me put this up. Pour one out for Dave Faber, a.k.a. Gooner Holic. Please join the Gooner Pod Thursday, 3 p.m. UK time for a tribute to the life of the great, great man. Seriously special pod. Mike doesn't throw stuff like that around lightly. For those that don't know Mike over at the Gooners Pod, I just a tremendous guy. I mean, he's funny here. I mean, he's a really funny guy.
He's the man.
Somebody said, "Why don't you do stand up?" And he said, "Because he can't stand up." That was fantastic.
Then do sit down.
Then do sit down. But no, seriously, it's Gooners versus cancer. It's stuff like this that makes the Gooners podcast so special. So please, please, please go give them a watch on Thursday. That will be Christmas Eve, 3 p.m. UK time. So East Coast, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. That's 10 a.m. East Coast time. Stan, that'll be 7 a.m. out on the West Coast. But yeah, Gooner Holic, Dave Faber was a tremendous guy. Followed him on Twitter. Had the chance to interact with him. Not a lot, but a few times, and the interactions were always top class. They really were. I don't have enough great things to say about him.
He had a great voice to listen to, right? He had some excellent points of view.
Yep.
He had great delivery in the way that he used to put himself across. And for those of you that don't know of Gooner Holic, who he left us. Was it last year that he left us? I think
it was I was actually in England when he passed. In fact, I think I remember I was at a pub in Bath. And I think I got I think I saw the tweet that he had passed. I could be wrong. But
he was a top man in this little area of Arsenal podcasting. He really was a top man, and someone I do miss as well.
Yeah. My final word, I'm just going to echo what Stan said. I just want to wish everybody a very happy holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, any other holiday that's out there. Happy Kwanzaa if you guys celebrate Kwanzaa, but happy holidays to everybody. Thank you. Thank you. We are we're 16 episodes into this thing, and most of you guys have been here from the get. So thank you guys. Happy holidays to you. Please, please, please be safe. Enjoy yourselves as best you can. I will be heading east tomorrow to see my family for the first time in about 6 months, give or take. Haven't seen them for a while, so not quite that far. But seriously, guys, happy holidays. Thank you, everybody. Hopefully a win tomorrow. We keep going in the League Cup. And who knows? Maybe we can pull off the miracle.
We're going to win tomorrow
on Boxing Day.
We'll be on that. We'll win tomorrow.
Yeah. Usually we say something like, up the Arsenal. Come on, you Gunners. But we're going to end it